All right, we're finally getting the back row in. I thought I'd have this done months ago, but you know, we've run into some problems. So originally we had the Jack Frost. I showed you, and that's not here now because it just looked like it couldn't struggle against the linden. I'll show you that later. And then I was going to do Geranium Macrorrhizum. I think you'll hear on one of the videos. That's what I was planning on. But I ended up not doing that because I'm not that nut about the leaves, and we don't know if it's going to bloom back here with the light situation. So I decided instead to go with Geranium maculatum, right, which is a purple dragon. It has a nice big flower and it lasts for months. And so I ordered those, and then we waited 3 weeks. And it never got here, and I called him. He said, you know, they had a heat wave and it was really in bad shape. He didn't want to send it. I noticed these plant people are very honest. They're like airplane people, you know. And so I said, all right, and that gave me a warning too, because it did say online it doesn't handle heat waves that well. So then we went for my next choice, which is a Lungwort or a Pulmonaria. And this one's called the Trevi Fountain. Now it has a beautiful flower. Maybe next year we'll see it. It's a blue flower. It's really beautiful. And you can see I got 5 of them to kind of, we really want to fill this back row. Finally, it's been empty all year. You see there was a small one I put in the corner. And the reason I got this is not only because it's got a beautiful flower, but even if it doesn't flower, I really like these spotted leaves. I think they look great and really give some contrast back here. Okay? So that's what I'm happy about. So I just got these planted and we'll see how they do. All right, I'm gonna try to keep them. The only limitation here is you gotta keep them moist. And you know, I can do that. I mean, I'm out here all the time. But, and also usually I let these sit for a day or two before I plant, but I didn't do it this case because the pots were kind of sideways and they were falling out. And we got a heat wave come later in the week, so I'd rather give them some time to establish, all right? I also used the Macrorrhizum, so when I planted it, let's see what that does. All right, let me tell you the hypothesis here, okay? Because the Lungwort here has shallow roots, and you know, earlier I went, uh-oh, shallow roots can't compete with this linden, is what it seems like. So what about this? Well, here's what I'm hoping, okay? What I did back here is I built it up with a few inches of compost, all right, that I amended to the soil. And what I'm hoping is that these can grow, you know, these roots supposedly will grow faster than the linden will into that new compost. So hopefully these will, you know, occupy the top layer and sit on top of the linden, and so, you know, coexist with it. That's what I'm hoping here. So as I said, there's a couple inches of compost I amended. You'll notice I kept it off the tree there, all right? So I hope that's what happens. I hate to have to watch this, you know, slowly die. That would be painful. But there is some support for that hypothesis because of the Euchera over here. Look at this thing, okay? It's so delicate. Here, let me get to the other one. I mean, first of all, it's so delicate. I wish these would grow a little more. They're starting to. But it's a troop. I keep thinking, oh, it's dead. Every time there's a hard rain or a branch comes down, sometimes it's a little floppy. But it's hanging in there. There's the other one. It actually has some new leaves and stuff like that. So I hope this is supporting the hypothesis. In other words, I think, again, this is just sitting on, this also has shallow roots. So I think it's just sitting on top of the linden and it's surviving. That's exactly what I'm hoping will happen here with the Lungwort. All right? If that does, boy, I'll be thrilled. So let's see what happens. All right, I want to show you what's probably going to be the last thing I plant in here. And here it is. It's the Geranium Macrorrhizum. Now, I had brought this up earlier. I was thinking of it for the rear row, okay? But the problem there was that I'm not sure it's going to bloom, and the leaves on this are kind of so-so. But I'm doing a little experiment with this. So if you've watched my videos before, you'll know I refer to this as the death zone, because everything I plant there doesn't seem to live. I had several Terranias here. They all died, and I kept them watered. And look at this poor hellebore there. I don't know what's going on. All right, I wish Roger was around from this old house. Basically, Roger, help. But we'll see what happens with that. So I want to try it here because just to see if it'll make it. And I did it on the other side. You can see it's the same thing. right up to the tree trunk. Now I had asked AI, and AI said, yeah, you can put it up next to the tree trunk, but it might stunt the growth a little bit. I'm like, that's great. I actually want the, the growth to be stunted because it's a tight space. I just want to fill it in a little bit. I don't want this to take over the whole pit. Okay, so we're going to see what happens here. This is supposed to be a pretty hardy plant. That's why I want to try it in this death zone and see what happens. Okay, so we got 2 of them, and I think that's it on the planting. I mean, we're just going to try to keep things watered and see what happens.